Hi, we're here at the headwaters of the Napanee River in Napanee, Ontario, and this is where barges and ships of all shapes, sizes, and descriptions would come up to get cargo and offload cargo. Today it's a pleasure boat wharf, and the main reason for the water traffic, the furniture plant further upriver, is no longer in business. But anyway, that's Napanee, Ontario, and we're going to be talking about a couple of things here that actually have American connections in a very bizarre sort of way. And the first off is Karen Dubinsky and Suzanne Belay are telling the people of Kingston they don't want to be victims. By the way, Kingston's about 28 kilometers to the east. It was once the capital of Ontario. And they're not going to be victims of discrimination because they are lesbian, and very uncharacteristic to the nomenclature of the town of Kingston that I know fairly well after 25 years. They got a couple of hate letters threatening to shoot them if they did not leave Kingston. And the city got rather up in arms about it, and the police are investigating. Many of the citizens and public office holders consider it an affront to the character of the city. The people who sent the hate mail said that they were a part of an alliance with groups further south. Well, when you consider that Kingston is on the north shore of Lake Ontario, further south is the Estados Unidos, and further south, of course, is the teabag country of the deep south of the United States and the evangelical Taliban, which we have addressed so many times. But in a true Canadian fashion, they did say they were going to shoot these two women, but as Canadians, they would shoot them with BB guns, not AK-47s. And then we move on to Ontario, and the court there has approved a motion that Canadian companies that are charged with human rights violations in other countries, in this case Guatemala, can be tried in Canadian courts and judgment can be leveled against them. Now, what do you think people like Chesapeake, Williams Companies, etc. would think if they all of a sudden had to address human rights violations in third world countries in Oklahoma courts or in U.S. federal courts? I don't think they would like it much, but it does sound right and proper because they made the money, they made the profits. We'll have to see. But these people in Guatemala are alleging that they were raped, that 14 cases of rape at a mining camp owned by a Canadian company, and that the company did nothing. The company came back to Canada, ducked behind the flag, saying, oh no, we're Canadian, that was Guatemala, you can't do it. And the Ontario court says, oh yes we can. So we'll just have to see how that develops and see how the U.S. takes to it. And you remember the train wreck in the tiny Quebec town of Lac-Métil, or however you pronounce it, I don't speak French. Anyway, it killed 31 of their citizens and absolutely destroyed downtown when a runaway train owned by the Montreal Main Atlantic Rail Company, which is an American company, exploded in the middle of downtown. It was carrying fuel oil. It was carrying 4 million liters of fuel oil, as a matter of fact. Well, I'm sorry, that's 5.7 million liters. It was $4 million in damages. And now the company says to the town, tough beans, your town, you clean it up, we're not paying for the damages. What an American attitude that must be, and I'm sure our Canadian cousins are looking at this going, your train broke loose, came to our town uninvited, exploded, killed our people, and now you say, tough beans, our problem, we're going back across into the United States. We'll see what the Canadian courts think about that. And lastly, the Toronto International Film Festival is beginning, and the hot property is Benedict Cumberbatch. You may remember Benedict from the PBS series Sherlock. If you missed that one, then you might remember Into the Darkness, the Star Trek adventure. He's also in Osage County, and he's just a really busy fellow, much in demand. Personally, I'd like to see him become the next Doctor Who, but my barber, Carlin Brown, disagrees with me, but what the heck? Just because Carlin has a razor to my throat once a week, why shouldn't I go ahead and disagree with him? One last thing. We're going to be talking about this in the next few months. Write your office holder, whether it's the local county commissioner city councilman, congressman, legislator, whoever, write them and let them know what you think. Go to their town hall meetings, become a populist, become a progressive, but get the word out that not everybody is part of the Teabag Party or part of the evangelical Taliban. Get active. And by the way, as always, Mrs. Fricker is our producer, and this is Richard Fricker for the Oklahoma Observer. Have a good day.